everyone, I'm Allie. Join me in creating this beautiful reversible bracelet, and thanks to Cheryl, our resident designer here at Potomac Beads, for this amazing tutorial. So to begin this beautiful Marina bracelet, we are going to start with a wire guard. The wire guard is going to sit right against our clasp. I have a Claspgarten Art Deco clasp in the magnet here. Slide to the side, see how strong that is. And I'm going to drop down that magnet on a 0.006, about 6 foot piece of my Dragonthread. I have a needle on both sides of the thread, and having those two needles allows me to attach to the clasp right away. I like the magnet and a round clasp for this because the bracelet is reversible. Once you have that wire guard on in your clasp, you're going to stick on one 11/0 seed bead through both needles. So that same bead is getting both needles going through in one direction. From there, we are going to separate out our needles. I want you to stick 2 of your 11/0 seed beads, and I'm using the Crystal Labrador Fool, on both the right and the left needle. Let those drop down next to that first 11/0, and you can see that forms a little bit of a V shape. From there, we're going to pick up our first round duo bead, and we're using the round duos in Aztec Gold. We're going to do a crisscross method, so one needle is going to go in from the right to the left, and the other needle through that same first hole of the round duo is going in from the left to the right. You want to pull both needles then, and make sure that you still have an equal amount of thread coming out of both sides of the project. Let that round duo go right down next to those 11/0 seed beads. So you'll have, again, one needle coming out the right side, one needle coming out the left side. We're going to repeat that same crisscross pattern through our round duo bead through the second hole. Pick up 2 11/0 seed beads with the right needle, and take that right needle from the bottom hole up to the top hole of that same round duo. Put that right needle down and pick up the left. Left side, everything that we do in this tutorial is going to get mirrored. So anything that happens on the right is going to happen on the left-hand side as well. So 2 beads go on the left, we go from the bottom hole to the top hole of that round duo, and we bring the needle through. That's going to decorate the outside of that round duo bead. From there, we're going to continue with that 2 pattern. The next thing we're going to pick up after those 2 beads is going to be one of our 4mm bicones. I'll be utilizing 2 colors of the 4mm bicones. This one is jet, and then on the reverse side, since Cheryl made this bracelet design reversible, we're going to use the crystal. So 2 needles on the right, 2 11/0s on the right, 2 on the left. Take that next bicone, that 4mm, and crisscross through. Drop that bead down and pull it right down next to that round duo. We're going to again repeat this process with 2 seed beads on each side, grabbing our next round duo, going into the first hole crisscrossing, 2 seed beads, second hole crisscrossing. If you need to repeat this, you can always go back then in the video at the bottom scroll bar here and repeat those steps. After you're done with that simple layer of the round duos crisscrossing and then through the 4mm bead crisscrossing, you are going to repeat what we did at the start, taking after 2 seed beads coming out of the last round duo, adding 1 more 11/0 seed bead, grabbing your wire guard or your wire protector, and taking both needles and thread through that wire guard. From here, we're going to grab the other side of our clasp, so I'm just going to disconnect my magnet. Ooh, it's a strong one. Put my clasp right on the wire guard there. Take both needles and go through the wire guard. Usually you need to do that one at a time, and then the other one. From here then, you'll want to make sure that you don't have any extra thread showing. Take both needles and thread, and once again, come down through that 11/0 seed bead that is shared. This is going to set us up then to do our next layer in this bracelet. Now what we're going to do is add our second layer of our crystals. So the needle and thread, we are going to separate out again, going through those seed beads on the right-hand side. And I'm going to come down through all of the seed beads here. So I have the two from the V at the end there, the two next to the round duo, the two after the round duo before the crystal, and I'm going to get my thread in position by crossing through the crystal. I've done this with one side of my thread. I'm going to do it with the other side of thread as well. What we're going to do now is a 2 needle method of right angle weave, adding in some extra crystals. So for this, I'm pulling and utilizing my black crystal as well, and going to add that in. So to do so, again, we take our needle and thread down so that it's coming out opposite sides of our bicone. And now what we're going to do is continue that right angle weave. On the right-hand side, I'm going to pick up 2 additional bicones and then go down to the bicone that sits below the one I'm working on and go from the right side to the left, positioning those 2 crystals on the side. Do the same thing again. We're doing 2 needles, so we're going to mirror that image, picking up 2 more bicones, this time coming down the left side and crossing through that same crystal. That's going to pull the base line a little bit tighter and add in our black crystals that you want to make sure stay to one side. So go ahead and pull those up, and there you have your black. It's going to look like it's just going right around, almost like a little flower around our round duo, which is going to sit and pop up to the top. You're going to continue then with that same pattern, 2 on the right, 2 on the left, pulling that thread and pushing those beads, making sure they're all to the top of the design. While I have the right in my hand, that needle, I'm going to do my next one as well, kind of snaking down the design. This is just a time saver here. And then before I pull that super tight, pick up the other one, do the same thing on the other side, adding in my 2 black crystals, going down to the next crystal below it, crisscrossing through that one. Again, getting ready to pull those tighter as I go back and make sure those crystals stay to what is currently the top of the design. So you can kind of let that lay there, pull that thread up, and just do a nice pull with your dragon thread so that the crystals go to the top of the design. Continuing down now along the line, just give another pull, making sure that I don't see any extra thread. And again, I'm just going to continue adding in the crystals 2 by 2 on each side and then crisscrossing through that baseline of crystal. Once you have your crystals in, this is something to take note of before you start adding your crystals. You're going to lose about 1 inch of length. So make sure you make that base about 1 inch longer, because as you tighten up with those black crystals sitting on the top for that nice elegant look here, you're going to reduce in size. And it's going to kind of pinch it together. From here, once you're done adding your crystals on each side here, crisscrossing through, just like we did on the previous side, we're going to go back through our crystals that sit on the side of the round duo, both up through the left and the right, and out right after we're done those. We're going to take this opportunity once again to reinforce our clasp, taking our thread and needle up through that 11-0 seed bead that the needle and thread is going through the same direction, through my clasp, down through my wire guard, and once again through that 11-0 seed bead. What we do with one side, we do with the other side as well. So again, I've come up the side, go through that wire guard and that clasp, through the clasp, oops, and then once again down through the other side. This finishes off that layer of our jet crystal and gets us lined up and ready to start with our crystal to make that reversible to the top. After coming out of that single 11-0 seed bead, you're going to take your thread and needle up through the 11s that sit next to the round duo, through that whole line of seed bead on both the right and the left. I've already done it with the one side, crossing then through that first jet 4mm bead. Coming up through the design, I want you to go through the 2 seed beads that sit before the round duo, as well as the 2 seed beads that sit on the right side of the round duo. Remember originally when we did our first starter row, we added these 2 seed beads along the sides going from one hole, the bottom hole of the round duo, to the top hole. That's what we're going to be catching on to as we continue the design. To continue the design, on the right needle, I am putting 2 11-0 seed beads. On the left needle, I'm already in position there, and I have 2 of my 11-0, 1 of my 4mm crystal, and 2 11-0. What I'm going to do now is crisscross through that crystal. So you could do 2 11s, crisscross through this crystal, and then we're going to add 2 more. So I'm crisscrossing through, going one needle from right to left. You can see it if it's coming down there a little bit better. 2 seed beads go on the right and left needle afterwards. And then once again, we're stepping down to the next round duo through the 2 seed beads that sit on this side, coming out there from an angle. And out. You can see what this does is hides through the silver seed bead most of the jet beads on the bottom. So on one side it's going to be crystal, on the other side it's very jet based. So once again, I'm going to take my needle and thread, add 2 11-0 seed beads, and then 1 crystal to my needle and thread. I'll do each side separate here. Next side of thread, 2 11-0 seed beads, and then we're crisscrossing through that crystal that I just put on the other side. So you're going to have thread coming out either side. 2 more 11s go on, both the right, and I catch again the 2 beads that sit on the side of the next round duo. Picking up the needle on the other side, pick up 2 more seed beads, and once again through those middle 2 beads. Give a nice tight pull, and you can see that bracelet really taking shape. Jet on one side, crystal on the other for this nice reversible look. So I'm going to position my needles. I like to work away from me. I'm going to position my needles so I continue down the project, adding in this little pop of crystal, sitting between my round duos, catching in on those 2 seed beads on the side. So 2 seed beads, crisscross through the bicone, 2 more seed beads through the side 2. 2 seed beads, crisscross through the bicone, 2 more seed beads through the side 2. So you're going to continue that up through the rest of the bracelet. Once you're finished going up through the design, you're crossing through your last crystal, through your last of your sides there for your round duo bead. So we're going up through the last sides. And what we're going to do is keep one of our threads right there at that round duo space. With the other one here, we're going to go up through the 11-0 seed beads, up through that shared 11-0, and we are going to use this opportunity to once again reinforce our clasp. So we already have 2 strands going through there. Here is a third that we're going through there. Well, it's always fun with the magnet and the needle because it wants to pull. Going back down through them, the other side of the wire guard. And as I do that, I'm going to bring it down toward the side where my other piece of thread is hanging out. Pull that other piece of thread there, and then we're going to simply tie these 2 thread ends together. So right over left, left over right, tying these thread ends together. Nice and easy. And I love how one side of this bracelet is completely reversible and has that lovely jet look, and the other side has the crystal look to accompany. So whether or not I'm wearing it on the crystal side, we're flipping it over and wearing it so that it's a nice jet to match with a nice jet piece. You can see this bracelet and the design of the clasp goes beautifully no matter what side you wear it on. Thanks again so much to Cheryl for this beautiful design. Remember, if you need any materials, the bicones or the round duos or the seed beads, check out the links below the video in the description to shop with us online. If you change up sizes or do a different design idea, make sure to let us know also in the feedback of the comments. That helps out other Potomac beaders that may be watching and want to switch it up. Remember always, if you need anything, just comment below too, and we're happy to help you there. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.